mom was in Mukilteo, dad moved to Mill Creek, and my neighbors, who today are still some of my best friends, introduced me to their group of friends. And I was really curious about this kid driving an Audi. And I was like, who is this guy? And did his parents buy him that? And they're like, no, that's Joel Mika. And
who has been on this podcast.
Yes, he
before.
has. A very close friend.
If you haven't heard that episode, go back. I can't. I'll have the producer throw the show notes in, but Joel is how I met Jordan.
Right.
Early, like, how old was he at the time?
So he would have been grade 12. I was grade 10. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a 2-year gap there.
Okay.
Right.
And you're like looking up to this.
Yeah.
He didn't have the Hummer at the time?
No, this is real old school days.
Pre-Hummer.
Pre-Hummer.
Okay.
He's got an Audi. I'm so curious how he has it. And someone says he plays poker. I didn't know what poker was.
Okay.
But I was like, I would also like an Audi in high school. So I need to meet him.
Yeah.
And so it was a random Friday, and he was doing his thing in his mom's basement playing poker, and we all huddled up behind him to watch him. And I was just like in awe. I was like,
was it online?
It was online. I just couldn't believe like what was happening in front of me. And I was just
what did it look like though? Was it multiple monitors? Was it?
No, he just had one monitor, but he had all these games going, and the chips just kept coming his way. I was just like, how does he do this? Like, and so I bothered him all the time.
Yeah.
To learn from him.
And he's, a good person to learn from though, right? Like
well, watching him,
yeah.
Not the best teacher.
Oh, no, definitely not the best teacher, but like it's not like he hoards information.
No, not at all. But like poker at that time period was a real feel thing. So it's hard for people to articulate sometimes why they do the things you do, kind of thing. So
can you talk about that a little bit more? Because the market of poker has changed. I mean,
dramatically.
We're talking about what, 2005?
So yeah, if that is 17 years ago. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, nice.
Mental math.
Yeah, well played. Should be playing cards.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So like the market has changed dramatically, right?
It has, because of technology, because of the resources online.
Mm-hmm.
You can pay someone like $150, $200 a month for a coaching thing, and now you're a wizard like everyone else.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And what was it? You said it was more by feel at the time. Was there just like dumb money on the table most of the time?
Well, it was just that the game hadn't really evolved. So it was kind of, it was the Wild West. It was just, if you were the last guy to put a bet in, you were going to win, kind of thing. And unfortunately, the game has become more analytical. Mm-hmm. You've got these kids running sims and stuff, and it's just making the game a lot tougher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sims as in like
simulations. So they plug in all of these situations that come up, and then it spits out a solution for like what's optimal against someone that plays game theory optimal GTO.
Okay.
Yeah.
God. When you got into playing poker, did you think you'd be talking about any of that shit?
No. My first account was, so my nickname is Bombay, it didn't fit Bombay Prodigy, so I was Bombi. Yeah. I was missing one letter.
Did you do the Prodigy just to copy?
Of course. I was just trying to copy it. I was just like, well, I'll get some street cred.
Yeah.
Well, if you go on sharkscope.com, Bombi Prodigy has a ginormous fishbowl next to it, and he's hopping out of the fishbowl, and everything is painted red. It's just down infinite. So
fish meaning
I was a massive losing player.
Yeah.
I couldn't go to bed with money in my account. I would just torch it.
That's crazy. Yeah. How old were you at the time then?
I was, when I got shown the way, I was like 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you were eating shit
for years. I was
why
working
were you
at
so bad?
Well,
or not like, why were you eating shit?
Well, I was eating shit because I was overly aggressive to the point of trying to win every single hand. And you can't do that. mixed in with no discipline, being a young kid.
How many times Joel had to have just ripped you, like made fun of you?
No, of course.
Yeah.
And I'd have to do really, really pathetic things to get a transfer because I was a kid working at a scuba dive shop. I was not making good money.
Yeah.
But I needed to be in the games.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So when he came on, he was like, it took over his life. He basically like barely graduated college or high school at the end because he started as an A student in high school and ended with like
maybe a 3.0.
Okay.
Yeah.
He may have exaggerated.
We'll give him solid B's.
Solid B.
Yeah.
But he it took over his life and there was just no real point of doing anything besides playing poker. What did your situation look like?
Yeah, so mine wasn't as streamlined as his. Mine was a little rockier. So I was losing from, 15, 16, 17 years old. And then they kind of taught me heads ups and I kind of found that little groove, heads up being one-on-one. Mm-hmm. And I finally decided that I needed to lock down my account from everything else that I lose money in. And I put a buy-in limit. So I could only play heads ups that were ranging from $20 to $50 as maximum.
Why was heads up better?
Well, in that time period, you could play 100 to 200 heads ups in a day, one-on-one. And if you were deemed a professional or a regular, you only played bad players. Mm-hmm. And so if you had a 10% ROI and you played 200 games a day over a month, that's
positive. Yeah.
Oh, that's a really good win rate.
Yeah.
And so, that's kind of what we all, that's our roots basically is heads ups. And,
okay.
And then that's what Joel got really good at.
More randomness or less randomness of the game? If there's a table of 8 people versus one-on-one.
Well, one-on-one, you can just exploit someone so much harder because you know their tendencies and it's just you and him kind of thing. And so when you have that skill set, it does really well once you get at the highest levels of heads up because then you can take that ability into any format.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about anyone watching, I'm not a poker player. I've always gotten along well with people that are into poker and professionals just because it seems to be with my background, sports betting, similarities. And I think that, poker players and comedians actually have some similarities too.
Oh yeah. We're all masochists.
Yeah. Hey, if you like that video, make sure to hit the subscribe button and follow our page for new weekly content.